Bitmine Immersion continues to be one of the most high risk, high reward stocks out there right now. When you look at what's going on, you're seeing a bit of a bounce here on the stock, specifically back towards 36, 35, bouncing off that 200-day moving average, trying to get back into 40, 44. Now, when we look at what's happening here, I do want to highlight a few pieces of news first before we go into anything else. So you go into ownership, go into holders, and again, some of the newer buyers that just have kind of jumped in. You saw ARK end up in Cathie Wood buying more on the 28th. The last time before that was Vanguard buying more into their ETF as well for the 31st. The most recent is a 26% increase in shareholding from Cathie Wood and ARK. Interesting to see that. The other big thing that's coming out of here is Tom Lee, of course, buying more Ethereum. It's his favorite thing to do. But again, good to see that at least we're buying it at a cheaper rate as well as we see more of that increase. So now you are above that 3% total holdings as far as Ethereum's total holdings that BMNR has. It also brings the Ethereum holdings to 3.864 million, about 12 billion worth, and along with 193 Bitcoin worth around 17.3 million, which again, they're going to be continuing to do more as well with $1 billion in cash. Also worth mentioning, like I mentioned in one of the previous videos, is that dividend that's out there as well. So when you look at what's happening with a lot of these crypto stocks, you look at, everyone loves miners for some reason, and thank God Bitmine is out of the mining. Mining is so stupid. There's a reason why all the companies are converting to data centers trying to save themselves. But going into these companies, you go to miners and you jump into names like MicroStrategy, Coinbase. Even those big names like MicroStrategy and Coinbase aren't giving the reward like the dividend that is coming out of BMNR, which is really nice to see. And you definitely like to see that out there. It definitely sets them apart. So good overall news there. Again, when I look at BMNR, the first thing I do want to tell you too, as well as we look at the chart, is that this is a high risk, high reward play. I want to make that abundantly clear before we go into too much here on the chart, expectations, and what we're doing right now. Okay, I want to make sure everyone is aware of that because for some reason people are like, should I YOLO? I'm like, no, this is not one of those YOLO names if there's ever been one. Okay, the second thing here is you still are making lower highs. So when structurally I expect a change is when we break the actual structure of what's happening and making lower highs and lower lows as of right now. And in order to really do that, you would have to get above this big level here near 66, 64. Now, bare minimum, can we start getting back above like 44 as well? I would also like to see that. If we can start at least breaking back above right here, let me get the drawing tool so you can see. Breaking this little high right around there, start mounting that, I would also get pretty confident and might lean towards grabbing some calls. The other most important thing that we're actually paying attention to is going into Ethereum's actual chart, okay? Because for some reason, people don't spend time looking at Ethereum's chart. They just chart BMNR, which is really stupid. That's a very, very, very stupid thing to do. If Ethereum is going to go down, BMNR is going to go down, okay? Now, looking at Ethereum's chart, you are holding where you need to. That previous high that we had back in mid-May, May into June, etc. So you're holding a level around 2750, give or take. That is good news. You're making a higher low here. I mean, I will say, all things considered, you like to see that, okay? Higher lows out of here on the higher time frame. So again, good to see, right? So you want to see a push back to the upside. The bigger thing that you're looking for now on Ethereum is getting back above this 200 daily moving average right here. Again, this is your 200 daily moving average, not EMA, just regular moving average, okay? Getting back above that around 3,500, 35.5, I'm looking pretty confident as well. You can look at the Bitcoin chart as well, because again, I do think if Bitcoin's getting hurt, Ethereum's probably going to follow suit. It's the ringleader of crypto. So we want to see Bitcoin get back above locally as well, around 98.3, 98.5. If you can start remounting that, you look pretty good. And ultimately, in my opinion, you're looking back into 108,000, 110,000 pretty easily. That's your really big line in the sand, as you can see back here. You can clearly see here as well to where you remounted that and your rejections there. So clear as day, massive level at 108, 109,000. So be watching that. Note it's a handful of things, but important to see that as well. Now, again, when I'm looking at BMNR, what is my mindset if I'm doing anything with it? Number one, if you're buying it on the dip, I think you had to be buying shares. I think buying options was stupid. I kept saying that over and over. You're trying to knife grab by buying options unless you're going 2-3 years out, which even then I think it's stupid risk. Personal opinion. But again, as you're bouncing here, this is where you get interesting. So above 44, let's talk about what we would look for, what we'd be watching for. So I'm going to go into Mumu for an example here, which I am not sponsored by them anymore. So that is worth mentioning. Going into BMNR, as we'll go here, go into BMNR. So I'd be going pretty dated. Now, before I explain why I'd be going dated, or before I go into the options I'd be looking at, I want to explain something even more clearly, okay? If you're going long on crypto or BMNR, I believe what you'd be looking for is a breakout towards either all-time highs or close to all-time highs, right? So that's going to take you some time. So if you're going long on some of these names and you're looking for a breakout, you're not looking for like a 1 day, 2 week move. You're looking for like an extended period of time to really capture that move. So I would be looking for more, like at least 6 months on contracts, bare minimum. That's my personal opinion. Do whatever you want. So if you see me going out, that's why. So we're currently in December. I'd be looking at least towards May, possibly even June. We can look at both of those contracts. June might be better. But again, what you'd be looking for is number one, getting some decent open interest and seeing some volume. And you're seeing that buyers are coming into the $40 options for this coming May, which I actually like these quite a bit. Sitting around, the spread would tighten up closer to $9. At $9, that makes a lot of sense. The next thing you can do too is going into detailed quotes to seeing actually how these options have moved in the past. Going into the daily chart, let's actually go to the 1 hour so you get a little bit more information. So you can see actually from lows, they've already doubled. That's lows from November 21st on BMNR, which again is worth mentioning, going down to that low of $25. Don't get me wrong, it's moved up quite a bit since then. Now, if you really wanted to capture a move and have more time and be comfortable holding that position, again, I'd at least go a year out, going towards next January as well there, which again, and if you think about it, like when you look at this, a $40 option being $15 and you're getting over double the amount, I mean, you're getting literally 250 more days basically on your contracts, and it's less than double the price. I'm just saying. So that's actually probably a better position as well at the $40 strikes also, which have a shit ton of open interest. Also the 50s here around $12. I'd be going for the 40s. You'd make more money on these. Just going to tell you that right now. You can look at how those move. And I recommend going into your options and understanding how they move, which again, from lows, these have basically doubled up as well. Very close to it, like 90% give or take. And I think, again, like I said, I think this is a better position. So again, what I'd be looking at, either the Januaries or the Mays, the $40 at the money is what I would look for. I think next Januaries make way more sense. But again, if you start pushing back up, you can see that these quickly will move, especially as they get in the money. And again, what I'd be looking at this and considering leaps for is, instead of going maybe $5,000 in shares, you could probably go 1,500, maybe half the amount, and almost like a leverage up your money in a way there, leveraging your shares with time on your contracts. You can go further out if you want to, but do what you got to do. So anyways, what we're looking at there, why I like BMNR and the overall position that I'd be looking at there. A few other stocks that I want to go into and just give you just a quick rundown through some of these other crypto names you might be watching. Number one, MicroStrategy. I've been very clear about this on MicroStrategy. You have a decent little level down here, but for some reason, I don't know why people are doing, it's beyond my understanding. So people are coming back on Twitter, and it's actually like absurd that people are like marking out this as your key level, which I agree. I think like 180 is a level, don't get me wrong, but this is your key level. Like I want everyone to, the $200 spot is your level, your previous high from April, March 2024. That is your level. And be abundantly clear. There's a reason you broke out of it, came back down, pinned to it, and then slingshot it back up. So again, please understand that. So I would not be going long under 180, like under 200. I think that's a dumb, very risky play. Above 200, you look good towards 233 in a hurry. This is literally no liquidity here. If I drew this back here, as you can see with the liquidity tool, let me grab it right here. You'll literally be able to see how you're moving and how fast you're going to move. I'm telling you, there's nothing. There's literally, it's a ghost town, right? This whole area is going to be crystal clear. You're going to fly right through it. So again, big fan of that. Above 200 has room into there, but wouldn't be doing anything until then. The next one is Coinbase. I would say if you're looking at like a long-term investment in crypto, I would say Coinbase is the name, to be totally honest. I mean, not risky, in my opinion, not as risky, but still looks solid. If you just zoom out with all the drawings off here, I mean, the chart looks healthy. You're holding up very well in comparison to other names. I mean, like, just take a look. Like MicroStrategy getting just decked, which, you know, hindsight, looking at the daily chart, not a terrible chart, retesting this level, trying to break back up. But again, though, Coinbase, you couldn't convince me that there's another chart in crypto that looks better. And again, they're making shit tons of money. The amount of money they're making from USDC, me and Donnie in Discord were talking about it, also insane just from that. So again, as their stable coin, but again, getting back above like 284 is really what I'd be looking for here, or right here. You're holding that level here around 272, but above 284, which is also your 200 daily moving average. That is what I'd be looking for. If you hold above that, you look really clean back to the upside into 295, 300, possibly over that as well if crypto really starts bouncing back. You know, the other thing you have to watch here specifically is going to be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to be the top dog when it comes to moving Coinbase MicroStrategy. But if Bitcoin is able to mount back above 109,000, Coinbase and MicroStrategy are going to kill it. I'm going to tell you that as well. I think Coinbase is a better name. And if I'm trading any two crypto names, it's going to be BMNR and Coinbase. I'm going to tell you right now. But again, as far as what I'm looking at in the market, that's what I'd be looking at, why I'd be looking at it. Hopefully that makes sense. The Discord link is down below. The Twitter link is down below. Have a good one, traders.